Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen table and another one on my marks. And in today's video, I am bringing you my take on the moon of Endor. So I did a small Endor MOC in last year's little mini series where I tried to build a battle from every episode. But this time I brought it in big. It was a very fun project to work on since I got to stretch my plant pieces the furthest they have ever been stretched before. So it's a really cool MOC that I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I guess we'll start by giving you some kind of backstory to the idea behind this MOC, and then I'll show you all the details as usual. The idea with this MOC is that the Empire has, a lot of smaller bases stretched out across the entire surface of the moon to be able to supply their main shield generator for the second Death Star on the planet. And this MOC is supposed to be one of the outposts on the planet, a smaller one that is set right next to one of the main supply routes on the moon, where the Empire can haul their cargo around. So that is the idea behind the MOC, and let's get into all the nice little details. We can start off with the plates and how I did it all. Of course, I had a black border around the entire MOC. Then I used some dark green plates mostly to cover the main terrain work, mixed in with some brown and some olive green plates. So that is kind of the base layer for the entire MOC. And then I've just covered it all in lots and lots of plant pieces. But over in this corner of the MOC, we have a little pond with some murky looking water that has a muddy beach around it, like this. And in this corner, we have an Ewok doing some traditional fishing next to the pond. And I guess these two stormtroopers have been sent out to chase him away from their military installation. Then we have the main outpost over here, which has a little cargo platform next to it, where we have a little stairway leading up. We got some railing all around it, and it's raised up just to not stand in the mud. We have a K2SO looking droid guarding the cargo and perhaps keeping inventory as well. We have all these imperial crates where they can store their rations, some extra ammunition, and anything they need to keep the outpost going. Here we have the main entrance to the base, which is open right now, where I used one of these sticker pieces from the Mandalorian sets. Then we have some scout troopers over here. Let's see if we can get a nice view on them. They're going out for a patrol or perhaps to meet out with the convoy that's rolling on the main road. Around the base, we have some nice snot technique, and I try to keep it really tiled off along these sides. Not too much happening on this far side of the base. And in the back, there's just mostly tiles, but we also have a little ventilation shaft over here. On this side, let's see if I can get an angle on it, but the wall is sloping over here. We have a little hose coming out of the base and some other pipes. For the roof, we have some kind of chimney looking feature over here. A little antenna, some dishes, some other ventilations, like ventilation shafts and all that. And I tried to mix in some dark bluish gray to give it some extra life. Got some more greebling, some tubing and piping. And then we have this main hatch, which is a way for you to climb on top of the roof. It can be opened. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And here you can kind of see the ladder that you'd climb out of. So that's that. We then have this dirt road in the middle of the MOC that is littered with some pebbles and just some, well, I tried to have all the plants be removed from that road since it's a highly trafficked area where grass wouldn't want to live with all those thruster engines pushing on it. In front of the convoy, we have the Imperial logistics speeder that's hauling some cargo around with some troopers from the logistics platoon. Then we also have the Imperial artillery speeder that's rolling throughout the MOC, where I have the mustard artillery troopers here. I have brought their mortar with them, but they also have their main howitzer if they ever need it, with some extra ammunition there, the speeder. And that's kind of a tricky thing when you're building one of these MOCs. It's when you want to have vehicles on it, they can't be too big. So I couldn't put a juggernaut here that would entirely take over the whole MOC, but you still want big vehicles. But I think this was a nice mix between a too big looking vehicle and having these small ones, since a speeder might be a bit boring as well. So I'm happy how I managed to implement my two little speeders into this MOC, which brings some life to it and makes it feel like a really trafficked road that the Empire is using quite a lot. Then the MOC has 3 main trees on it that were a challenge to design, to say the least. We can start off with this tree, which I started giving it a kind of classic stacking bricks base for it, and then I moved on towards using snot technique, but I also wanted kind of a round tree trunk as well, so I had to get some sloping bricks to give it that round look to it. Then we just have some stacked leaf pieces for this tree. Then for this kind of pine looking tree, I used another technique where I had snot technique, and you can kind of see how it was built using hinge pieces, trying to get a round shape to it. And then it's just a bunch of plates all being held together by some hope, some gravity, and some leaf pieces. So this, I believe, is the tree that turned out the most authentic and cool looking, but it's also the most brittle one, so I'm not going to touch it too much. But yeah, I'm happy with the end results, and I really tried to hide the little hinged pieces as well here in the bottom. So yeah, that was a cool looking tree. And then this other tree used kind of a similar snot technique to the first one. I also wanted to get that rounded look to it. Then just to have some nice leaf pieces all around it, like that. As you can see here, we have some more of the road with pebbles all across it. We have one of the backpacks to the artillery troopers here in the back of the speeder. You can see some more of the terrain work with some leaves. We got a little olive green mini hill with a rock on the top of it. Then we have this hillside to the base, which is a nice elevation next to the main road, where we have a tree trunk standing here, being a bit overgrown. It's probably been a while since that tree was cut down. Then we have a patrol of rebel pathfinders, probably trying to sneak past the Imperials, or perhaps they're planning an ambush. I'm not quite sure yet, but it was nice to get some rebels in the MOC as well. So yeah, I'm happy with this little hillside next to the main road. I guess we could lift off one of the speeders just to show you what the main road would look like if vehicles weren't passing through. And it's about time that I give you a look at the interior of the base as well. I mean, it's a smaller outpost, so it's not too much going on for it, but we'll still have a look. We have a little round table where some stormtroopers are having a snack, some rations where they got waffles in their ration. I guess that can last a long time if it's packaged correctly. We have some beds, some bedside lamps, their little kind of preparation corner. Not a full kitchen, but they still have some sandwiches and all that going on. Got a stormtrooper sleeping. Gotta have some of that imperial propaganda on the walls. So we have that imperial logo. And then we have this little gun rack, which I wanted to make them look kind of like lockers, which was pretty cool to do. So I'm happy with how that gun rack turned out for the rifles. We have another one for the E11 blasters. That's also kind of a locker. You got some stands for their helmets. And then also the main radio or communication hologram over here in the corner. So they got everything they need to keep the base working. Here's the door feature. You can see this little slope here that you can just push on. And then you can close the door for the base. That looks like that when it's closed. So yeah, just a nice little feature for that. Guess we'll reattach the roof, give you some focus so you can see what the base looks like when it's closed off. Like that. And I think I'll give you a bit of an overview of the MOC again. Like that. So that is pretty much it for my take on the little Endor MOC. I hope you liked the video. If you did, do leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Just staying tuned to what I come up with next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.